And it isn't just birds soaring through the skies. There are also dragons, phoenixes, griffins, and even creatures whose names had long since disappeared from legends and fairy tales. Ogres, trolls, wargs, goblins, orcs, fairies, giants, cyclopes, medusas, centaurs, cyclopes. Did I mention them already? Regular old humans were suddenly in contact with all of them. Remember Tony Stark's speech in one of those superhero movies? How quaint they look today. You know, the guy in the iron suit who started by fighting normal people before moving on to superhumans, aliens, and even gods. That trajectory, it turns out, extends much further than previously thought. But magic advanced by leaps and bounds after 2032. Humans worked on it, studied it, believed in it. At least, if the clerics and other zealots of the word are right about everything on Earth being moved by faith. In other words, magic didn't become just another part of life on New Earth. It worked its way deeply into every aspect of life, developing and transforming as it went. The age of digital technology was followed by the age of magic and technology integration. They even found Atlantis. Sure, it wasn't that hard. For thousands of years, the state of Atlantis had been thriving on a continent hidden from the mortal world under the water, with just its tip protruding above the waves for everyone as New Zealand. It also turned out that the old non-magical technology we used to use had failed to grasp Earth's full size. The planet is almost half again as large as people used to think. Scientists went back to the drawing board, poring over what they thought they knew to combine physical laws with the laws of magic and sorcery. Just to take one example, no one yet knows why the larger Earth discovery didn't change the number of days in the year, the number of hours in the solar day, or even gravitational acceleration. 50 years later, in 2081, our stack of unsolved riddles still dwarfs the ones we've figured out the answers to. But humans went on living. They learned magic at schools of witchcraft and wizardry. They visited the lands of sapient magic creatures. They hunted non-sapient magic creatures. They explored dungeons. They loved. They betrayed. They gave birth. They died. They fought wars, too. Back in 2040, the first magic war changed the global map and all but destroyed the planet. More on that later. Reddit was successful in its mission to change the world. For better or worse, hard to say. Some are still adamantly set against the usage of magic lenses, rejecting all forms of magic. But they're few and capable of nothing more than scattered terrorist attacks. We've already gone through 2 generations, and there's a third maturing, for whom magic is just as commonplace as the internet once was. Of course, the internet is still around. Just don't be surprised if you come across an elf wearing sneakers and a baseball cap, drinking a Starbucks, and tapping away at a Mac laptop. Of course, you're still unlikely to come across one like that, be it in New York, Tokyo, London, or Moscow, unless you can get your hands on a pass for the city sector occupied by the magic races. That's your best shot. The only place where you're sure to bump into someone from one of the magic races is Myers City, the capital of Atlantis, deep in the Pacific Ocean, the birthplace of magic. But how did magic come to be? Who was the prophet? Why was the magic lens created? Alex Doom, also known as Alexander Dumsky, had no idea. And who is Alex Doom? Good question. Chapter 1. Straightening his shabby leather jacket, Alex waited for the gate to rattle off to the side, revealing a time-worn asphalt road. "Get out of here, Doom," boomed a voice from behind him. Alex turned toward the steel tower and the fat guard behind the reinforced glass. He couldn't remember the tubby man's name, though that didn't keep him from flashing a middle finger, tattooed with the word Doom. The guard shouted something back, but Alex was already too far away to hear what it was. Flipping his jacket collar up, he left the grounds of the Special Correctional Institution for Uniquely Gifted Humans. It was a prison for wizards, in other words, and it was where Alex had spent the past few years. The past 4 years.